we will start with learning about the trend lines and the channels. More or less, both are the same. Channel is a kind of trend line only. So we will begin with that. Before going into that, we have learned about the basic way of looking at charts. Okay. So what my goal is that try to find in any chart which we were talking about. Let me remove this. Find an area of low risk entry. See, in the life, what happens, and that happens in the market also, something which is having a trend, the trend generally continues. Like if you see the countries which are doing good economically, are more stable, continues to do economically good as countries because they have very good system of overall management of their country, good education, good health, good research capability. So like Western European countries, if you can see them, they continue to do good in overall in the world. Okay. So similarly, if there is a trend in the market, generally we see that the trend goes on continuing. Similarly, there is a trend on the downside. We generally see that change continuing. So our goal is to find to be in the trend, to trade in the direction of the trend. So if the market is moving higher, our aim is to buy in the intermediate dips or in the breakouts. And so either when it breaks out above this range, I can do a buying, or when it pulls back to the trend line, I can buy. So these are the way of trading a trend. So similarly, so it was a downtrend. So when it came close to this trend line, we could short, or we could short the moment this support was breached, and we saw the stock suddenly quickly fall there. So there are two ways of trading a trend that we understand. Once there is a breakout above, we are in a trend, an upside breakout, we can buy that, or we can form a trend line, and when it goes back to the trend line, it works. Now remember one important thing, that though a lot of people nowadays like to have formula based investing, formula based trading, this trend line is the very basic thing, and in the market, which was there before all these tools, this RSI, CCI, various kind of indicators, Bollinger Band were there. So these were the more basic way of describing a chart was trend line, and this still works. Simplicity always has its own flavor in the market, and they work very beautifully and possibly better than any other indicator that is available into the market. So always try to apply simple logic into the market, because as a manual trader, our goal is to look at the chart, find if there is a trend, and that cannot be captured with the help of a formula, and try to take advantage of that. A formula based trader doesn't have the advantage of looking at chart and taking decisions. So we have a edge there, and this works with developed markets also. So let me take any stock. Let me talk about Amazon stock, which is a stock in US. Okay, so one of the largest companies in the world. So Amazon.com. So there is a kind of a range bound activity, but before that, look at this phase. So a trend line was established earlier at this point. A trend line was established at this point, and see how many times the price came back to the trend line. So the trend line was initially created by just a second, by these two lines, but later what happened is that the trend slope a little bit changed, and we had to draw a different trend line there. So this trend line ultimately worked, and see the up move with the help of this trend line. So many times price came back and moved. It is so you might have thought that this is the top, you could have shorted, but not much benefit. You could have shorted here, not much benefit. So if you are shorting, eventually counter trend trading. This is called counter trend trading. You are assuming that this is the top, I will try to short the market. This has not worked. But if you had taken trades when along the direction of the uptrend, you might have been successful 5-6 times, and once you had failed. But that is part of life. Like nothing goes on forever. Okay, nothing goes on forever. If you see the batting form of any batsman, like there was a time when in the last World Cup, Rohit Sharma scored 5-6 centuries in a World Cup itself, in a single World Cup. But right now, is he scoring centuries at that consistency? No. So every trend eventually breaks, but when there is a trend, this is the low risk opportunities for taking the trade, and that's why we use the trend line. Is this part clear to all of you? No, there was a breakdown, but see, this is not a breakdown. The when we are in an uptrend, it is not a trend breakdown. It was already in the upside, but the factor is that it has not created a lower low. So though it broke below this, this was not a very breakdown trade, you can say, because there was no lower low being formed in the market. What happens is that after some point of movement into the market, uh, the intensity of a trend changes. I will show you many examples. Maybe Tata Chemical. Show. So, look at this chart. The 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 fast movement in the upside, then a consolidation, then fast movement upside, then a consolidation. Now it is still in an uptrend. You have to understand this. As long here, see, this low was above this low, so higher high, higher low is created, and here you see that first low is created. Until a low is created below this, you cannot say that is a downtrend. This is a consolidation, and that may break on the upside, and that's why I have marked it. So after a fast movement, many a time the slope of a trend changes. Earlier it was like this, but as long as there is no particular way of lower highs and lower low being formed, you cannot say that there is a downtrend. So this part is clear. Okay. So our goal is to find trend lines which actually work beautifully in the market. Okay. Now you have to understand one important thing. Sandeepji, your question is not applicable right now. Please wait towards the end of the session, and if you feel like you ask, if you don't get your Sudeepji answer of what you have asked, you can please ask again. Okay. Now, what I am trying to mean is here uh, is that let us learn about the trend line. Okay, first. Okay, higher the time frame, more the reliability of the trend line. Okay, let me go back to the chart. Now see, uh, let me talk to you about Hindalco chart. And I am going here in the monthly chart, not a very small time frame like daily, hourly, or 15-minute monthly chart. Okay. Trying to squeeze it a little bit. Now see, If I go to the monthly chart, I can see its price action from the time it was listed, that is 2007. Now, if I join these two lines, I get a trend line like this. I get a trend line like this. There is a higher probability that once these two I need first 2 points to create a trend line, and I will there is a little bit complexity in it. I will describe it slowly. Okay, so when I draw a trend line like this, there is a higher probability, because this is a monthly chart, it will be respected. And similarly on the upside, if I join these two lines, I get a trend line. Third time it is respected, and fourth time it is violated. Okay, as simple as that. Fourth time it is violated. But when we have a trend line in the hourly, in the monthly time frame, obviously it is more reliable, and the price move out from that trend line is more significant. Like from 84, it has already gone to 324. It has already become 4 times. Okay. Now, what I am trying to say is that when we have a trend line like this, which is in a monthly time frame, it is highly likely that its validity will be quite high. Let me go to the Vedanta monthly chart. I will show you. See, this was Vedanta monthly chart. I need 2 points to draw a trend line. Third time it came, there was a high probability that it will hold, and it has already multiplied more than 3 times, and probably it is going to 330, 340 again. The point is that when we have a trend line in this higher time frame, there is a higher probability it holds. Now, if I go back to the hourly chart of Vedanta, and let me make an adjustment here. Obviously, I can see a trend line like this. Now, this has also worked. Like with these 2 points, I could create a trend line. Third time almost came near to that, 209, there was a bounce to 230. Fourth time it came to 214, there was a bounce to 230. So I can see this kind of trend lines also working. But the kind of implication when we have a larger time frame, monthly time frame, we can see the possibility of it is being respected, and the movement is happening is very significant. Now, one important point you should understand is that there is a question that how should I draw a trend line? Now, this is the most important question, and this is most neglected question in general. Now, see, if I join all the lows of the trend line, I get a trend line like this. Okay. Now, if I join the body, the low of the bodies mainly. Okay, we are not in respecting the I would say the weeks. We are drawing based on the body low, and we are drawing. So we have a different trend line. We have a very different trend line. We can again draw with the help of a week. Here we took the low and the body. So in some cases, I can take the low of a week, and in low of the body, I get a third trend line. Now you may ask that which one of them is the most applicable? Okay, this is a very important question one should understand. My simple point is that any one of them can be applicable. When I draw a trend line, my goal is to best fit the trend line with the move. So if I have, suppose I don't know what is happening, just a second, I don't know what is happening afterward. At this point, my goal is to draw a trend line which best fits the move that is available. So if I remove this, this is the line which takes the weak low some cases, the body, the weak low some cases. This looks the best fit till 9 point. Now I can see here it was violated. So in this case, to match, violated a little and then it moved up. The point is that after I see this kind of a formation, I would like to redraw my trend line. So right now, this kind of a move gives me a better idea about my trend line, because this was, I can see a momentary breach. So here I am taking the low, but the body, so this gives me a better idea. Now when it comes next time, I can see this is acting as a good support, or eventually it broke. So there is always a question people ask that, sir, if I am drawing a trend line, which one should be the best? See, the best is that fits the overall move that is you are undergoing. So if I am going to the daily chart of and here comes the subjectivity of a manual trader. If you are not a manual trader, if you are only doing it through a fixed rule, you cannot have this flexibility. Just a second. So suppose I am talking about this up move. Initially, I would have drawn this trend line, joining the lines that are having. Right now, I can see that this line is not being respected. Price is not coming to this line. So I will try to draw another trend line. Okay, another trend line. And as long as I can see that this trend line is fine, because price just breached this trend line on the downside. There was motion in the in terms of downward movement, but there was no close practically below this trend line. So I need two lines to draw a trend line. Third one actually confirmed. Now the factor is that when I am here, I will draw a further trend line. So the next time, suppose price moves higher and pulls back, maybe I buy here first time when it pulls back. Suppose it fails, I will take another chance and buy around this. Or if I buy here, I will not square off my position until this trend line is breached. So the choice of trend line that you draw is not always straightforward. You have to keep on experimenting. Generally, because I am only focused into maximum 3 to 4 days of trade, or in a trade which is maybe intraday or maximum 3 to 4 days, I always prefer no stop loss more than 3%, and the most common stop loss I prefer is 2% of the stock. 2% of the stock. So if suppose I am buying the stock at 705, my stop loss would be 2% of the stock, which was actually violated here. You see, my stop loss was hit if I had bought at 705. But ठीक है, लाइफ में कभी कभी होता है कि stop loss would be hit, but many a times it would be like that, the stop loss won't be hit. And the way I actually trade is, when it pulls back, suppose it pulls back, I buy here, it fails. Okay, now once it again start trading above it, I know, because this line, this point was available to me. This point, I have already drawn a trend line like this. Now next time I wait for price to pull back to this trend line, and when it comes to here, I again take a buy with the 2% stop loss, which was not violated, and the price has moved a lot higher from 692 to a level of 765. Within a whisker, it has moved up. Now there is a question: which time frame, daily, weekly or monthly, to use for different trading, like intraday 2-3 days? There is no such point like this. I will explain you with this. People ask me, is intraday time frame, for intraday trading, do we use a 15 minutes time frame? This is a very wrong question. There is no way of telling that which time frame chart we will look. to trade intraday. I will give you an example of which recently I traded, and I explained with this example to all of my students. Okay. Now SDFC, I am coming to this chart. I will show you what happened, and I will go to the weekly chart. Okay. Or let me have a daily chart here. So this is the Bollinger Band, and there are two Bollinger Band added. Sorry, three Bollinger Band added. So I am removing two Bollinger Band. There is one Bollinger Band now. Now Bollinger Band, what I do is that, and this is a very significant feature that you have in trading view. See, I am dealing with a daily chart, but what I am doing here is I am providing a weekly Bollinger Band. So this Bollinger Band is the weekly Bollinger Band. Okay. Now look at this candle that happened on Monday. This uh, not this Monday. Yeah, this Monday candle is this. Yeah. So what happened on this particular day, and last Friday also happened. So I give this call two times. Yes, last Friday also, and today and this Monday also. So this is the weekly Bollinger Band, and for me, weekly Bollinger Band is a very important support. Now it came to the weekly Bollinger Band 2485, and it did not go below that. But when it came 2485, I gave a buy call to my students that it can go upside. Now see what happens. This was the weekly Bollinger Band, and my said that if it sustains above this level of 2485, uh, maybe it will go towards the 2800. And if someone is looking for a almost a 15% upside, he should have a 3-4% of stop loss, which has already not been hit. But suppose you are an intraday trader and you also took the trade from 2477 to 2485 to you almost 2561. 3% move you have that day. The next day again from 2490 to 2551. So almost 2.5% that day. So you will understand, even with the weekly chart, we could trade intraday. Okay. So the same question was asked with the old TMP group students, sir. If I am trading a intraday, is it a good idea to have any particular time frame? I said no. See, with the help of a weekly chart, also you traded intraday. So this is the wrong question to ask, what time frame of chart I should use for intraday trading or two time frame. It can be anything. Ultimate goal that you have is that you should find an area where the price has low probability of going down, and then the price uh, then what the price does, the price has low probability of going down. Now see, if the move has to happen towards 2820, it will come down one day, it will go up one day, it will do that like this. It will have a 4% kind of a stop loss, and it can then move 12-15%. But the factor is that even in intraday you could trade with a weekly chart. Okay, so this gives a detailed answer to your question, sir. What time frame chart you want to use? Okay. There is no degree to redraw your line. it can flatten a lot. Most of the trains flatten a lot, Sudeep ji. Most of the trains flatten a lot. So all these questions, please keep and hold towards the end of my class, because I am about to cover all the aspects. Okay, the train line angle, everything. So please allow me to complete my part of the presentation, and then you can ask your question, please. Now, more the number of touch points and more strength to the train line. So this is obvious. The more the number of times any train line would be touched, more the significance of the train line becomes. So suppose I am drawing a train line. I am drawing a train line. Now this train line, before it got broken, with the help of 2 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 times it was supported. So had it not broken here, it could have continued more number of times. So the more number of touch points in a train line, it is safer to actually enter a trade when it pulls back to this level. This is a good point of entry. Okay. Lower the and the positive and negative flow, more stable is the train line. Now this is a very important point, and there is a trick also in it. Now let me show what a train angle is. Okay, this is the train angle. It is 52 degree, 51 degree. So it did not last very long. It had broken. Okay, within a small amount of time. This was even horrible. Sorry, let me start with this point. This was even horrible. Minus 67 degree. It also broken. So generally when we have a train line which is less than 35 degree, generally it lasts very long. Very long. Okay. Coming back to the daily chart and removing this Bollinger for a moment. For example, I use this. Now, suppose you are having a train line like this. And you have to redraw this train line later. See, the train angle was very low. The first set of trend line was this. You see, and then we had to redraw it because the sequence of higher high and higher low was there. Okay. Now, see, in both the cases, I will show you the trend angle. Just a second. It was only 8 degree. So it lasted very long. This one was little bit more. This one was around 18 degree. Still, you can see from November to next year September this lasted, and this one lasted from March to almost more than a year. It lasted. So the point is, when you have a very strong and fast trend line, generally it will break fast. But the movement in a small period of time would be fast in one direction. Here it was in one direction, 67 degrees. But generally, when you have a more benign, less than 35-degree angle here, it will be there. Now, a question may come into your mind: if I distort it, I'm distorting the price line, the angle is going to change. The angle is going to change. It becomes 37 degrees. Then what should I do? The idea is, don't distort. Put the auto thing. In the auto mode, there is a function that auto mode, okay. So when the auto mode, the chart, whatever the angle would be, take that angle and compare in terms of that angle. Don't distort the chart and measure the angle. If it is less than 35 degree or 30 degree, it lasts for quite long. If it lasts for less than if it is less than 35 degree, it lasts quite long. If it is more than 35 degree, it will be quite fast, but eventually it will break. The trend will change. Clear, all of you, this part? All of you clear about the trend angle part, slope part? Thank you, Vikas ji. Sir, Bollinger Band, right now you forget. I will teach that in later classes. I showed this as an example because someone asked me what kind of chart we use. Bollinger Band maybe will come in 4th or 5th class. So don't worry about it, sir. That also you will learn. I showed this example only to explain that, okay, any chart can be used in any trading. Charts basically should give me an idea about a price point where the price risk is low and price reward is higher. Correct, sir? So till this point, everyone is okay, right? Okay. So we will move to the next part. Channel is something when we can define a move with two parallel lines. Like here it is not possible. You can see if I define this line and the other line is not parallel to this line is a little bit expanding. So these two lines are not parallel. But at times you will have movements which can be defined by parallel lines. Like I will show you in this chart only. This phase. If I talk about this phase can be defined by a parallel line, set of lines, where price movement generally is within this parallel phase. So this is called channel. The beauty of the channel is if I buy near and for drawing a channel you need 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. For drawing a trend line, you need how many lines? How many points? 2 points. For drawing a channel, we need 4 points. Now, next time when it comes close to this channel low, I can buy and I can book when the price goes to channel high. Again, buy here. This time it didn't work out, but channel is a beautiful thing that this gives me a proportion where I should book my profit. So this was not a very parallel move. I will show you channels earlier also. So this was a beautiful channel, you see. When price comes back to the lower end of the channel, so with the help of this point, this point, this point, and this point, you had drawn a channel. When it comes, and suppose when it was forming 4 point, it was going up, you needed to book profit. You could have booked profit near this top. Eventually, it had broken. I will show you many channels. Channels are always present in a move. Channels can be in any direction, like upward trending, downward trending. This is the channel. See, with the help of this point, this point, this point, and this point, you have drawn the channel. Next time it came to here, you could have done, or even if you had drawn the channel like this. Come here, you could have book profit here. Next time it could have come here, it could have book profit here. So channels gives me an idea of where to book profit. Like if I have gone long at 14.95, I should have booked profit at 16.66. Again, if I had bought at 60.30, I could have booked 17.61. So 10% kind of move every time it is allowing me to take if I am correctly following this channel. The same goes with the channel. If the slope is more than 35 degree, it will move faster, but it will break also faster. Okay. This channel continued actually. You see, though there was an aberration, and we can ignore this aberration, it came back, and that time it broke. The beauty of this channel or trend line is once it is broken, it becomes a resistance. See, once it was broken, it went down, it came towards the channel, it was a good selling point, it went down later. Every time you will see like this. See, the factor is that this was the channel. Now, once it has been broken, when price pulled back to near the channel, it was a good selling point. So once a support is being broken, this becomes resistance, and similarly vice versa. I will show you once resistance is being broken, it becomes support. See, this is a kind of a resistance. This is a kind of a resistance area. Once it was broken on the upside, when price came back to this acted as a very good support. So always look at the channels or the trend lines. Once they are broken and broken on the upside, price pulls back to them, they act as a support. Similarly, see, this was the channel, price broke, went down, pull back to this channel, and then fell again. So whenever you see such things, like whenever you see that long-term support being broken, price pull back to them, that should act as a resistance. When a long-term resistance is being broken on the upside, price stays above it, it acts as a support. There was a small question, I will take that. Yes, 4 points means 4 touches to the line. 4 touch points, high touch points and low touch points combined are 4. Okay. So this part is gone. Now let me move to the subject again. So I will see this example, and this example will give me a great idea. So just expanding it a little bit. So this is the case study of Vedanta. See, with the help of this line, this point, and this point, I could draw these 10 lines. Okay. No, from this, because after breaking this, price came back to this, and this acted as a resistance. So with the help of this point and this point, I could have drawn the trend line, and with the help of these 2 points, this is wrongly pointed out. Let me put a here symbol here. Just a second. Let us ignore, because this was actually wrongly put. So this was not the trade, but this was a down trade which we could take. This was a down trade which could take. This was an up trade which we could take. This was a down trade which we could take. This was an up trade which could take, which didn't work out. Let me go to the Vedanta chart itself, and it will give you an idea about this. So here I am writing on this Vedanta. I will go to this place when this price action happened. So talking about this phase, I think. Sorry. No, time is not visible. Time is not visible. Still, I will try to go there. So this part. So you can see many a times you could take this trades until there was a breakdown of this range. Okay. So a similar thing. Many a times it took as a support. It acted as a resistance. You could take these trades. But once you have taken this trade here, it actually did not act and it broke, and this acted as a resistance, and below this there was sharp fall. So this was one example. Let me go to the next one. See, long-term trend lines with the help of this, this was in Nifty from 2016, 2018, 2020. See, many a times it acts as a support until there is a close below this. See, here there was no close below this. Many a time there was breached, but until there was a close below this, it acted as a support, and later it acted as a resistance also in the Nifty. So if I go to the Nifty chart, and weekly chart I will look at. Nifty 50 weekly chart. So I was mentioning about this thing. See, there were until, and this acted as a resistance also when price came back here. You can see there was a kind of a resisting activities, but once this was broken, this moved higher. For me, the Nifty is again within a broader trend line. It can though it can fall to maybe 14,100, 200, but I think Nifty eventually would move on the higher side because the trend is there, and whenever it had, they see these 2 points form the trend line, and after that many times it came back, it acted as a buying zone only. So this is the point I am trying to say. Until and unless there are weekly close below this 14,000, you cannot assume that Nifty's uptrend is over. Okay. So while we discuss, we are also giving you some inputs in terms of what the market view is going forward. Let us look at this. As I told you, many a times, these trend lines are multi-bagger opportunities. This is ICICI Bank chart, I think, Axis Bank chart. See, with the help of these 2 lines, I could have drawn this. There was breach below this, and my stop loss might have hit. And this is monthly chart, I think. Yes, this is the monthly chart. Now see, uh, again the moment price started staying above you, I could go long, and you can see the quantum of price move here. Okay, from a level of 200, it went to around 680. 3 times it became. This time, the first trend line, if I have taken a buy, it would have hit stop loss of 2-3% here, but it pulled back to again to 40, the lower trend line, and see if I have taken a long here. Right now, the price is around 700. So I'm going to the Axis Bank. So you can see how much it has pulled back. So I'm going, if I looking at the weekly chart, you can see, or it was a monthly chart rather. to avoid the clutter, let me go to the monthly chart. You can see from a low of this how much the price have moved. 285 to almost 780. It has become 3 times, 4 times. Just a second, I'm getting a call. I will just take the call and come back. So you can see here that when it came close to this, it had gone up from this point of contact. Okay. Now going back to this next one. Again, this is the long-term chart of Hindalco that we were discussing right now. Let me go back to this chart once again. So after I finish my presentation, which would take I think more than half an hour to 30 minutes more, 40 minutes more, we will have questions from your side and we will discuss whatever things you have in discussion. Okay. So this is the Hindalco Industries monthly chart. You can see that is what we were discussing. See, monthly trend lines are multi-bagger opportunities. If I am talking about this trend line also in the monthly chart, see how many times stocks have pulled back to this line and how many times the kind of moves you had. So these 2 points had created a trend line. Now see, when it pulled back to 209, from 209, suppose you had taken this channel only. You have taken not big up down move, but this channel only from 219 to 150. So it was almost 30%, 35% down move that you were having. So you can understand following long-term price move, there can be multi-bagger opportunities. Like from here of 85 or 90, you could have seen the stock multiplying more than 3 times, and now it has broken this cycle of trend line that is was the lifetime trend line, and possibly it is, if it stays above 310, you can see the stock going to 500 in few months, because possibly we are in a commodity super cycle again. Going back to the presentation. So as I showed you, there can be multiple trend lines. Here there is the example of that in Nifty, that there was a multiple trend line we could formed in the daily chart, and we have to take care that which one the market is respecting, because there can be with the help of the body ends we can draw a trend line, with the wicks we can draw another trend line, like that. Sometimes trend line changes the slope quite a bit. So there was a question from, I think, Subodhji about or Vikasji about the change in slope, how much this can be. So Sun Pharma, I am going there. Sorry. and I'm going to the daily chart, please. Going to the auto mode. Look at this. You are having a trend line like this. Okay. Uh, I think it was this phase. Let us look at. So, if we are coming back to a trend line, earlier what was happening, that this was the trend line. Now this was broken. This was broken. Okay. Now we could draw a line with the help of these upper points and this lower points. So we can do a line and see when price pull back, it pull back to a line to this line and bounce back. And those who are interested in the Sun Pharma stocks can notice that price has pulled back to this supportive line once again near 566, 567, and if it protects this 565 level, possibly it can go again back towards the 630, 640 level. So the slope of trend line often changes, but we have to see until and unless the higher high and higher low sequence is not being breached, we are still in an up move. So this was the question, sir, how much can change? See, here the angle changed drastically. 48 degree initially it was, and right now it is 15 degree. But still the uptrend is continuing. Redrawing of trend line, as I said that it happened with State Bank. Initially this was the trend line, later we had to draw, and many trades worked. This trade didn't work, it fell down. So you have to look at this. And also a very important point regarding the SBI stock, those who are trading, let me put here. And I'm going to the monthly trend line, okay, monthly chart. So those who are very long-term holders of SBI should know this. Now see, this was the monthly chart of SBI. Very significant, okay, this trend line. What happened? And we could draw another trend line in between, like this. What happened? Above 385, there was a potential lifetime breakout. It broken out and it had pulled back. At the time it broke out, that time only I told my students in the TMP that, see, had it been not a PSU company, like the similar thing happened with Hindalco, you see, and at similar price, Hindalco was happened at 310 and this was 385. So I said that, see, these two breakouts have happened, one in Hindalco and one in SBI. Because this is a PSU company, government run company, I am very doubtful that whether this breakout would sustain. Now, once it has come back below this level of 370, if it stays below 370, then this stock is again going to play in the range of 370 to 150 that it has been playing over the last decade. But for the Hindalco, which is a private company, privately run company, and also which is a company in the metal sector, which is probably having a metal super cycle. Probably it is going to have to move towards 500. So these two companies, note down these two companies as a case studies. These two companies you have to follow, and you can see that how a little bit of judgment, that this is a government run company, this is a private run company, and having a commodity super cycle. This small extra information can help you Now, these are additional information, and there is no fixed way of looking at it. So, this small information can help you trade in a better way in these two stocks. For next 6 months, remember this part of the presentation that we did, and we will discuss. Okay. Resistance turning support. So this is an example when Tata Steel, these were the resistance lines. Once this were breached, they acted as a support. So many a times you will find this happening in many of the stocks. Okay. So let me go to the Infosys chart, and I'm going to the daily chart. Going to the auto mode. Now see, you will see this thing in Infosys multiple number of times. See, these are the support level. These are the resistance level. It was breached on the upside, price came here, price took support and moved away. This was the resistance level. Now price when breached above this level, it acted kind of support, but it did not pull back the exact line. Let me go to the past also. I want to show you. See, this is the resistance level, resistance zone overall. Now once price breached and stayed above it, went above a little bit, it pulled back, it acted as a support for quite some time. And again, when it was breached, it acted as a resistance. Price when pulled back to this level, went down. Once it was moved, again breached this line, moved above it and stayed above, moved higher. So every significant level on the upside and downside, you should actually mark these levels, these zones. At times, these are zones. So this zone is a no trading zone. But when price is above this, you try to play on the upside. When price is below this, you try to play on the downside. See, above this, it is moving higher. If for some reason Infosys falls and come to below this spread, below this level, this will act as a resistance. And when there would be pullback to this, you can act as a these act as a buying opportunity. Any stock, let me look at Axis Bank. Price came back to this, acted as a support. This was resistance. Price came back to this, acted as a support. Okay. Many a times you will see this. Numerous example. Okay. We can see. Hero Motocorp. A support zone earlier, when price breached, it acted as a resistance zone, price fell near it. When it pulled back to this level also, this acts as a resistance. You see, now next important level, if you can see here, is this level. If 2852 is breached, this will act as a resistance. So prior support and resistance, horizontal levels are very important. Always mark them, and they will act as your trading point. So, marking here, crossing up. So whenever I look at charts, I do similar things. I mark the levels which will be important to me in going forward in future. Moving above 3650. So my levels are always fixed. I will know that when market reaches this level with the help of alerts. Prior swing highs acted as support. Here, it in the case of which stock it is, let me watch Ashok Leyland. Okay, let me go to the Ashok Leyland chart. And I'm going to the weekly chart 1 second. Look at this. Absolutely beautiful example. This was the prior swing high. It came back to 40. From 40 to 140, it went up. So prior swing highs act as a support. And prior swing lows, this can act as a resistance. So when a price was moving higher, just watch. This was a very significant swing low. When price was moving higher, around this there was a kind of price action, though it did not act as a resistance that point of time, but it tried to act as a support when price came this time, and from 74 we saw a bounce to 97. So these levels you have to note down. In my charts you can see most of these levels are noted down in a way, and let me for the downward move note down this also. Price moving below 106. So I have always my levels ready in the market for the future. The same point I was making in Infosys chart, this level it acted as a support, it came again, acted as a support. So the same concept that prior important swing highs and swing lows acts as level for record for going forward. See, when you get the short term range, a horizontal range, these are very important. Okay, like I will show you, there was a similar range in the Axis Bank earlier, and you can see how beautiful it was to trade this. These are like God sent opportunities. Okay, occur very rarely, but when they occur, they are very, very beautiful zones to trade. Going to the daily chart. Look at this wide, and this continued for 4 or 5 months. Wide range. Is there any better opportunity for you to trade for 4 or 5 months stock in a small range, and you are trading up and down? Near the up, sometimes it will overshoot, but there was no close. You will trade with a small stop loss of 1 or 2%. Near the bottom, you will buy with a small stop loss. So this was like a God sent range. Often in Nifty also you will find. I will show you in Nifty hourly chart. Few days ago this happened. Nifty 50. I'm going to hourly chart. So in any time frame, if you find this kind of a range, these are basically God sent opportunities for us to trade and make money. We should never ever shy away from taking opportunities of this kind of ranges. If we are available, like if we can see that kind of range that we have during this, and this is almost a 200-point range. If I find this range after some time, after this has formed, I find this range after this much point of time. Still, this part I need to play along with the range. Very 30-40 points of stop loss in Nifty, and you can get 150 points. So 1:4, 1:5 kind of a trading opportunity. Yes, once it will be hit. Now it has started trading above it. What is your job? Here you go long because it has started trading above this range. So whenever you get this small horizontal ranges, when market is trading within them, always try to capitalize max out of it. Like here we can see kind of a range here, kind of horizontal range. The third time you take a long, fourth time you may take short which did not work, but at least for staying above you could take long. and it went above. So always remember, try to look market in terms of supports and resistances. There is a lot of more to taking trades. I'm not coming to it on a single go. Uh, you just watch it, and the factor is that as we learn more aspects of trading, we will use them. See here, it was a downtrend. Okay, now this was an aberration, but overall this trend line was helping. Now, as this was a significant swing high, I had drawn a line. Now, what market did is that it came back. SDFC Bank. This is near October. I will go to the chart direct. Daily chart SDFC Bank. The essence of this class should be to understand the dynamics with which we are looking at chart. Now, look at this. This was a significant high. Let me go there. This was the hourly chart. The same thing in hourly chart I am showing you in daily chart. Okay. This was a significant range. The moment it was breached and price started staying above it, your goal was to actually go long and see how the price moved. This was Nifty. Okay, I need to note to SDFC Bank. So October, November, this phase we were talking about, this was down move, and there was a kind of a range like this. The moment price started staying above it, your only goal was to buy and just sit tight for the very forceful move that was coming. So always remember past ranges when they after this was the up move. Like see the pattern you have to also see. This was an up move. There was a consolidation or a range bound movement. The moment had it broken on the downside, you should have gone short on the downside also. It has broken on the upside. Your only aim was to buy and see here. And when I was talking about horizontal rate, here is nothing more satisfactory getting or identifying such a range. Even if you are playing it from this part also, so many times 1360 to 1440, like 5-6% move, so many times you have. And the moment it breaches, you get long. 1448 to 15, again 5-6% you have. Well, it pulled back and pulled back to this range support only, then again it bounced back and moved higher. So whenever you find this kind of range, this range was in SDFC Bank for some time until and unless it broke down. Okay. Now SDFC Bank in a buying zone. See this line, which was earlier acting as a resistance, is bank is right now near this 1450, 1460, and possibly this can act as a support, or it can go to 1355 and it was there. So looking at the chart, I can find that these are the levels where one can buy. I will share this in my tweet also. You can look at the Twitter handle that I am having. Just a second. Keep on talking about the market here. Just a second, some time, taking some time. So this is my TRADER underscore SOURADEP. This is my profile. You can see. This is my profile. I will show you Vivek sir's profile also. Viv Bajaj, you can see at the top. and then Ketan Panchamiya sir.
এখানে এম থ্রি
So
এম টু বা এম ওয়ানের একজন আসছে যিনি এমকেম উনি রিপোর্ট করবে হ্যাঁ ই ওয়ান ই ওয়ানকে রিপোর্ট করবে ই ওয়ান ই টু রিপোর্ট করবে
I think his
আমাদের
is
কাজ
one two
হচ্ছে
three
আমরা
Chetan. 123 Chetan Panchamiya.
হ্যাঁ
Yes, at the rate 123 Chetan B.
পাওয়া হ্যাঁ
So you can
আমরা
follow us in
আমাদের
the
কাজ
Twitter.
মানে
We
এখানে না
share
হলে
a
আমাদের
lot
কাজ
of
চলবে
understanding, our market understanding in the Twitter also. Anyways, let me get back to the presentation. Almost done.
রিপোর্টিং হয়ে গেছে এখানে আর রেডি এখানে আমার রিপোর্ট করা হয়েছে তোমাদের
Sometimes the choice of trend line is not straightforward. There can be multiple trend lines and we are confused. If we are confused, we can take a trade multiple times if it is hit, then again take a trade here. We can do that or we can avoid taking trade. Similarly, here I cannot draw a perfect trend line. There is a 4 5 trend line that is possible to draw and I don't know which one to follow. I can avoid trading in that kind of a condition. I said this part that godsend ranges, if, they are there, like this small horizontal ranges, they are godsend. We could follow them. Here, in the case of channel, sentiment channel with slopes, here the slope is on the not very high, so you can see how you can deal with about them. If it is slope is not very high, only point I'm trying to take is that if it is an uptrending slope, try to take these buying trades and not these selling trades. Often the selling trades doesn't work very well. So if it is an uptrending channel, try to take this buying trade. If it is a downtrending channel, try to take the selling trade. That's it. So that's cover my presentation today. So as I'm saying that if we are in a channel, don't try to take this selling trade because there was actually no price movement on the downside, only time consolidation. Try to take these trades which are on the upside. So this is all about 3:15 right now. Let us have a 5 minutes break. Let us join at 3:20 and then we have almost half an hour to 1 hour for our question answer. Is it fine with everybody? Let us have a 5 minutes break. Yeah. So note down your questions. We will be happy to discuss whatever doubts you have. Thank you. So have a little bit of water and then let us join back. Okay. Thank you. is no audio Vineet Khandelwalji because we took a 4-minute break. So question is, sir, to give out calls, do you record price on weekly support or daily support, since you say long-term support is more reliable? It will depend on the current of type of market, sir. So in terms of weekly support, we rarely get price at those levels. We will always like to have Sudhir ji stocks at weekly support, but the problem is that we don't price don't pull back to weekly supports so often. This is a once in a while scenario. So you understand that we have to, as a professional traders, if it is your bread and butter, we have to be there all the moment. Okay. So at all the moment you have to present in the market. So obviously, if we get something near a weekly support, that is an added advantage. But we trade on hourly supports also if we get some. Now there is a question from Ankit Ashok Kumar Patel ji. Okay, I got that train line needs one or more touch points, not one or more, two touch points they require, sir. So how you are deciding the starting point? Sometimes I see you start from the middle of a upward trend and downward trend. See, it is simple. If I see a trend change, any stock I am taking, Kotak Bank suppose, suppose I am talking about this small trend, okay. I can see a trend line here. Joining these 2 points, I can see a trend line here. Now suppose I can see that price is not pulling back after some time towards this level. What I will do here is try to draw a mini trend line, and in this third point try to take a trade. And this is not a very mean trade. From 1300 it went to around 1500, so 15-17 points. The fourth time it pulls back here, I will take a trade, but that will be stop loss hit. But I can take a short trade here also because my mini trend line has breached. So the way chart is behaving, based on that I will take a trend line. So earlier I had drawn a trend line that I am not seeing price pulling back to this. So based on these points I draw a trend line, price pull back to here. I take this trade and this is a good trade. And then here also I take a buy trade, it fails. Price starts staying below this trend line. So what I do, I short here and wait, and 1322 to 1232, almost 100 rupees the stock falls with 7-8%. So from where you draw a trend line here is completely dependent on the kind of way. Like here, if I am looking at this uptrend, I can draw a trend line like this, which was validated here. But as price was not pulling back towards this trend line, what I could also draw is that because the slope has changed at this point of time, I could draw a trend line like this, which was broken. I can see if I have taken a trade here, it has broken. So, but no higher highs, no lower high and lower lows. So within these 2 points, I found another trend line. It came back here. I took this trade from 1888 to almost 2042, 2021, almost 130 points. I might have taken trade here also, but it had failed. So I continue to draw trend lines as I move along with the trend, because the market also slope changes without changing higher high and higher low overall. No, trade line can be straight line only. Rajkumar ji is asking. Sir, trend line can be straight line or any curve to be drawn. It has to be straight line, sir. So this is Ramakrishna Raju. Om Prakash Dwivedi is asking, I am only recently initiated to trading and have hardly done any after proper diligence, okay, can one sell today only if one has delivery? See, you for cash selling a stock in cash market and not buying it, you should have it in delivery. Intraday you can short anything, but you have to cover within that day only. If you are talking about cash segment, derivative segment, though you are new, I won't ask you to trade into derivative. First master the cash part. Don't trade in derivatives, but in derivatives you can sell today and remain in a sold position at the end of the day also. Basabraji is asking when we have to enter if support is 1360 and it breaks, and if I want to sell at what price I have to sell. It completely depends on the nature of the market you are having, sir. In present days market, because the price action is very fast, see, once it broke, it consolidated, you could sell after 1 or 2 days also, but many a times in the upside, once it breaks the resistance line, you don't see, if you don't enter at that point, price giving you opportunity, price move fast. So as soon as it breaks, you enter. But in a normal market, apart from what happened after COVID, you would get this kind of movement. I will show you. If there is a break above this line, so let me draw this line. So earlier market used to be much more placid. So once you break, you would generally get a pullback. You could buy here, you could buy here. Now after the COVID, what happens due to lot of liquidity? Once it is broken, very few cases you see such kind of a consolidation. In the most of the cases, if the breakout is here, you will see a fast move. So in present market scenario, the moment it is broken up by maybe 0.5%, it moves in your favor, you should take the trade. This is answer to Basav Raj's question. Now, next question is from Om Prakash Divedi ji. To spot and draw a trend line, you need to stay away from trading until you spot two touch points. Yes, sir. This is correct understanding. Now, next question is from Ankit Ashok Kumar Patel ji. Is what percentage of you usually set for stop loss to take profit in each trade? See, this stop loss and take profit target I want to discuss a little bit later. But as a general rule, I don't for if it is completely intraday, I generally have maximum stop loss of 1.5%. If it is a swing trade, I generally have maximum stop loss of 3%. In the most common cases, I have 2% stop loss. Depending on the nature of the chart, you cannot have a stop loss of 2% with the Adani stocks which are moving very fast. You need to have 3%, whatever time frame you are trading. So if a highly volatile stock is there, the stop loss is little bit more. If a stock is having little bit less volatility, this 2% is enough. Now you have to understand what I will do. If I have shorted here, look at this chart, Kotak Mahindra Bank. If I have shorted here and my stop loss is set, once I will again enter if I see the price below the trend line and not move far away. So I am happy to take the trade multiple number of times if once I fail also. Another important time, I always look for staggered profit booking. Staggered profit booking is like that. If I have sold here, so initially, suppose my stop loss was 40 rupees, I will prefer to take 50% of my book 50% of my short position if it moves 40 to 50 rupees on the downside. The rest I will trail with the stop loss. So the moment I book my profit, I keep my stop loss, bring my stop loss to the selling point. So I cannot lose money. Now price moves, as price moves on down, I keep on trailing. Now suppose look at this part. If I was trailing my stop loss, when this candle formed, obviously my trailing stop loss was hit and I am out. There are many other ways of getting out of trade that we will discuss as we understand the market, as we learn more about the market going forward. Okay? There are tools like super trend and other things that we will learn. Can we draw a trend line in 5 and 15 minutes chart? It is sensible. Will it be valid penetration point? You can draw trend line in 5 and 15 minute charts. At times, you will find them working very well. At times, you will find them working not very well. But the noise increases if you move to a 5 minute chart. I generally see this kind of weeks you will find many things you will find in a 5 minute chart. Generally, the minimum time frame I generally look at is 15 minutes. I generally don't look at any time frame below 15 minutes. The way I interpret market. If you are going to 5 minutes, you may see a lot of noise in volatile stocks, especially. Okay. Now, Vikesh ji is questioning what discipline or rules we should follow when stock is crossing or near the support line or break or breakdown point. Sometimes I see it came back even after breaching or vice versa. Sir, noise is part of a trader's life because today in the market there is so much liquidity. It is quite often that stop loss hunting will go on. तो इसीलिए क्या होता है, if your stop loss is getting hunted many a times, so that's why generally don't look at chart which is below hourly. I don't look at charts which are below hourly time frame. Still 40% of your time you will fail in your trade, and 70%, 60 to 70% of the time you have to make money in your trade. That is part of life of a trader. You understand? That is part of life of a trader. How much good you are in analyzing the chart, at times your stop losses will be hunted. Okay. Now there is another question from Vikas ji. Okay, but how to know you are getting fail in a trend? If it moves away, much away from the trend line, I said your stop loss is 2%. If it is 2% stop loss is being breached, you are getting away from the trend, sir. Simple point. Can you suggest any live simulator? Practice paper trading, sir. There is no need for any live simulator. Next question, please. So the questions have ended. Any questions you are having, all of you, you can please put forward and I can keep on answering. Any questions, sir? Yes, Ankit ji is saying yes. So please write down the question. Any homework? I said in the very beginning of the class, sir, the homework is studying the recorded technical analysis course within a week if you can, or within 2 weeks, especially the Dow theory. There are two questions. How can stockage help in technical analysis? Sir, let us complete Avnish Patraji about the technical analysis class overall. Then we will talk about stockage, because stockage has many of the things that we don't know right now. Let us go with the technical analysis class. Let us learn everything. Then over the 6 months, we will see how you can use the stockage. Okay, sir. Now, next question is from Om Prakash Dwivedi, sir. Are you going to further elaborate on Trendline going further? No, sir. I have given all the aspects of Trendline that we need to discuss. Now, it is your duty to find the examples in the chart. Look at charts every day, 2 hours a day, in daily, hourly, weekly, monthly time frame, and place your observation in the WhatsApp group. Don't message me personally, because if you message me personally, I reply to you, only you learn. But if you have a question, you put in the group and I respond to you. All the members, all the 26 members who are present, they learn. So for any questions you have, don't message me personally, please, because from your question I learn. I want everybody to learn, and from everyone's question I want everybody to learn. So any questions you have, please put only in the group so that we facilitate group learning from that. Watch charts at least 2 hours a day every day and share your observation there. Sir, many support and resistance concept will come that we will discuss as we go move on our class slowly. So this is the homework: watching charts and observing what we discussed and sharing the charts in the group. This is the homework, as many as you can do. The Dow theory is in the ETA course. There you will learn about the Dow theory in the recorded. Please contact Sunita. She will guide you. Somit Agarwal ji. I showed you. See that ETA TMP. This is the thing in this. If you go outline, in the outline, you will find the Dow theory. You go there. Yes, I told in the very beginning of the class, sir, this class is being recorded and the recording will be generally shared by Monday. So, if Om Prakash ji, this Monday is Holi, I wish happy Holi to all of you and your families. Please enjoy the festival of color, and possibly this time it will be uploaded by Tuesday. But in all the other cases, every material and every recording will be shared within Monday. So Saturday is the class. Within Monday, you get the recording. Yes, PPT also you will get once the course is uploaded. They will share with you the PPT also. So this is with the group. This is with the all my material is with the team. So you can request them to share the PPTs and the material. If you want the PPTs ahead of schedule, you can request them. They can share with you. Okay. Any more questions? If not, let us wish us ourselves